Hello, everyone. Can you all hear me?
Yes, Miss Tang.
But can you all hear the audio from the YouTube just now? No.
Miss Tang, I think you need to change your presentation to the third option.
The third option?
Yeah, the tab best for video.
Okay, I try. Our speaker is not in yet. Okay. So I try for another round for this tab. Okay.
I saw Yapp just now, Miss Tang. I saw Yapp, but then he switched off his camera already.
Okay. So maybe we play for another round. Let's see.
Hello.
Hello, Yapp.
Hi. Nice to see you.
Nice to meet you all.
Hello. Sorry,
Hi,
Yapp. Just now no audio.
Oh, it's okay, man.
Where are you now,
So, later I go look at the YouTube again. Oh, here's the link.
Okay. I'll share the link again later. So maybe now I just stop presenting lah. I will present another one. Hi everyone, Miss Tang here. Okay. You can see the slide here. Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to Ms. Chu, lecturers, students, and our speaker, Mr. Yapp Howe. So it's a great pleasure for me today to introduce our speaker today, who is going to share with us the technical communications in the Hello World. So I think this is a very interesting topic, okay, which we should all be deeply interested in, because you cannot run away from the communications in our daily life. Okay, so our speaker here, Mr. Yapp Howe, is currently a data engineer in Digital Heritage Sdn Bhd. He joined the Digital Heritage since 413. So this is right after he graduated from Abdul Rahman College. So for students, he is your senior. Okay. So, so his expertise in the field of data wrangling, data visualization, web development, web applications, dashboard, data pipeline development, and many more. Okay, so please welcome Mr. Yapp Howe. Okay.
Hello.
So I will let you to present your screen now, Mr. Yapp.
Okay. Okay. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Before I start my presentation, I would like to give you all this link. Wait a moment, yeah. You all to fill in this Google form. This form has a few questions to ask about the how important do you think the communication skill is as a software engineer and as a student, and then what do you think is your current level of communication skill, and do you think the skill can be learned and improved? So, okay, start the presentation. I would like to give this talk because I want you all to realize the importance of communication in workplace, and the communication skill can be learned, and it takes time and effort to learn. So the sooner you realize the importance, and the better, so that you have more time to learn before you go into the workplace. And in college and the business world is different because there are two main differences that I will talk about. First, in college, when we were given the assignment, the set of requirements are already given, and so we have to do is we understand the requirements and learn the tools and the knowledge, and then we work on the assignment and deliver it on time. But then in the business, the requirements are not given. So effective communication is very important for us to meet with the clients and gather their requirements. But the clients rarely know what they want and what they expect. And sometimes they couldn't tell us also. So we need this effective communication with them to invite them to talk more. We have to ask them more questions to get their detailed requirements. The second difference is in college assignment, there will be no user, but in business world, our project after it's delivered, there will be users. Either the client themselves are the users, or the customer of our client are the users. So, so I want to share with you a story about the project I've done last year. That this project really emphasized the importance of communication, because there were actually quite a lot of miscommunications during this project that have a significant impact and have very real consequences on a lot of people now. So last year in March 2020, when our government declared the MCO for the first time in this pandemic, there are a lot of people, they couldn't go to work. And the most affected group of people are those not earning they are not earning daily wages. They are earning daily wages, and they are not like us, like we earn a monthly salary. We still can work from home. But these people, they are earning daily wages. From the day they don't go to work, right, they don't get to earn any income at all. So besides the bantuan given by the federal government, and then the state government of Sabah, they was also giving a one-off bantuan payment. So the state government actually specified 7 targeted groups. Those anak-anak Sabah work in the Semenanjung, the petani pekebun, nelayan penternak. Those people, the KRR registered in IKASI, the porter Malim Gunung, pemandu taksi, bus, lorry, kereta sewa, ibu tunggal, and those warga tua, anak yatim, and OKU. So But before the government is able to deliver this bantuan to these people, they need a system in place to collect their information, like their my card number, their bank account number. These two are the most important info, so that they can bank in the bantuan money to them. So in April 2020, I was assigned by my company to build a bantuan application system. Okay, so our client is the state government of Sabah. So this project was very challenging, and in terms of the communication, because it involved multiple government agencies, like around 10 government agencies. And then so effective communication is very important here because we have to communicate with a lot of different people from the state government, and also the users are the public, like several 100,000 of public users. So, but because of the MCO restrictive guideline, we cannot have physical meeting with our state government agencies. So we rely on two main communication channels, which are the messaging apps and then the video conference. Then, but we are all new to this new normal, so it's very challenging for us to actually adapt to this teleconferencing and messaging app communication style, and also working from home. And then another thing about this project is it's very different because in previous projects, those businesses are already established. So our clients are already very familiar with their daily operations, what are their usual issues. But this bantuan project, right, is something new. It's never had before. So we don't have the experience, and our client also do not have the experience. So this is a new problem to address that nobody could anticipate what will go wrong and what needs to be done if anything happens. So, and also because we involve multiple government agencies, each agency have their own set of requirements, like what are the criteria to for the state application approval. So let me talk about some of the context about the system and the bantuan application before we go into the main topic. The bantuan, to receive the bantuan, right? A person first they have to go to the bantuan application system to enter the details. They have to select one of the the golongan, bantuan golongan, and attach any supporting documents and then submit. So after the government got the data, they will process based on some criteria, whether it's approved or rejected. And then if it is approved, then the government will proceed to the payment to it's by batch. So they will send a batch to the bank for processing, and then the bank will return the processing result back to the government, and then the government will update the application status and the payment status into the bantuan system. Then in the public front of the system, there are three main interfaces. That is the first one. The applicant will enter their IC number into this non-board card pengenalan text box, and then they check the protection for robot, and then they sum up. In this second interface in the left, we display their status. If they are the first time application, there will be no record. Then they will click the Buat Permohonan button, and then they will go to the third interface. This is where they will select the golongan bantuan they want, and enter their details when they scroll down. Oh, sorry. So after that, the process on the public front is done. Then The next step is for the government to actually process the data. There will be a backend administration interface for them to access the data, perform some queries, ad hoc queries, and then update the application status. So aside from the system, there is actually a call center organized by the government to address any public phone calls regarding the bantuan. So actually many things have gone wrong during this project, and especially the communications errors. So let's talk about what are the things gone wrong and what we can learn from them. So before I talk about the bantuan system, there was a bantuan, another system built and deployed by another party, not us, but another party, for one of the 7 golongan. And that is the largest golongan that they target. And it has actually collected like around 100,000 applications. And then due to some hiccup with the first system, so our new bantuan system was actually built and deployed, replacing the first system, and also covering additional groups of the bantuan, additional golongan also. So actually our bantuan system was built and deployed in very tight schedule, like only about 5 days. And then we worked around the clock to complete the first version. And then we continue to work around the clock for the next few months. But surprisingly, we didn't face any technical issues. But we actually stumbled upon many different kinds of non-technical breakdowns. So the first one is the redirection. Because as I mentioned, our system was actually replacing the first system, the previous system. So there are something extra we need to do instead of launching a new system. The first thing is need to redirect the traffic, all the traffic, to the previous system. Like let's say the previous system URL is, for example, previoussystem.com. And then when the users go to previoussystem.com, they have to be redirected to the new system URL, like the newsystem.com. So the configuration for this URL redirection was a simple, straightforward URL redirection, which means like now when you go to the previous.com, right, you'll be immediately redirected to the newsystem.com and see the new interface. So this method actually caused a lot of problems to the public users because our system was actually launched before any official announcement by the state government because of some incident, and so the process actually became a bit terbalik. So when the public users, they go to the previous.com, right, they get redirected immediately to a new system, and then they see a new interface. And that interface is completely new and different from what they expect. So they direct, so many of them, they go and call the call center. So the call center get a lot of phone calls from public, and then I would say they are like kena DDoS lah, the call center, because when we try to call the call center, right, we cannot call in anymore. So this lesson here is the site redirection should be part of the UX lah. UX is like user experience. It's more important. It's very important in this case to actually use a countdown timer or like a message here to tell the user like this system has been replaced and we are going to redirect you to a new system in 5 seconds, so on, or click this link to go to a new system immediately. So that the users know what was happening and the redirections experience was smooth. And then the second problem with this is because the system replacement was very sudden, and because of the incident, so the call center was not briefed about the system replacement. So even the call center, when they receive call from the public asking why suddenly the system changed, so they also cannot answer. And second thing about this is when they have some problem with the new system, right? They call and ask the new call center. The call center officer, they also cannot answer because they were not briefed about what are the features, what are the functions about this new system. So those people are very very, how to say, some people are very rude and they screaming, yelling, cursing to the call center officers. So I would say the briefing was very important in this case. So that is among belongs to the internal communication of our clients. And after that, that was the first wave of the phone call to hit the call center. The second wave is when the system launched, right? When our new system launched, but we haven't got the access to the previous system data. So we couldn't import the 100,000 application into our new system. So what happened is, let's say we have 100,000 applicants. They already apply, submit the application in the previous system. And then suddenly when they go to the previoussystem.com, they get redirected, and then they see a new interface, they confused. But when they try to sum up their Permonan status, right, they get a no record status. So that actually caused a lot of confusion among the public. Some people, they should be okay, they just resubmit. But some, the problem is become worse is among these 100,000 applications, there are a subset of data that have already been marked as process successful or approved. The application is approved. So this group of people, right? They have the impression that their application have been approved, but when they check in the new system, there are no record. So they become very furious and call the call center again, and then I think they must be very angry, and then they curse and yell at the call center again. So because of the incident, right? The data import was actually should be done before we do the site redirection, but we launch the system first before we import the data. About the data import, some of the data actually marked as successful, but when we try to import the data, we realize some of the successful application data, they have this invalid MyCard number, or they have this invalid bank account number. So we know for sure this data, their payment to the bank transaction payment will not go through. So we actually had a very lengthy discussion with our clients what to do with these records. So the conclusion was actually change the status to ask them to resubmit again. So when these people, right, after days, they didn't see their data in the new application, and then suddenly when the record status come back into the new system and they ask them to submit again, So they feel very like cheated lah, because previously the status was successful, but now the system asked them to submit again. So they call the call center again and then complain, make a lot of noise. So what we should learn from this mistake is we should always validate our data. So data validation is very important in this case, like especially the bank account number and the my card number. And also the application status, right? Like successful or approved, these are actually very ambiguous. We try to use quite more lengthy but more specific status, application status, because when people see the application status is successful, right, they will expect they are getting the money, but actually not, because not forget about the application approval process, right? When after the application is approved, whether the money go into the bank is subject to the bank process. If sometimes like when their bank account is actually blacklisted, so even when their application is approved, but their transaction will not go through lah. So using a successful term like this, right, actually cause some confusion to the public. These are a few problems that I can share in this short session, but actually there are more, but I don't have the time to tell all the stories here. So I hope these stories can give you some inspiration about and engineering is about half technical and half communication. So if you think communication is important, I recommend you read this book, 5-Star, The Communication Secrets to Get from Good to Great. Read this book and then learn some communication skill and then practice it. I would like to take this opportunity to thank you, Florence Cola, my manager, because she actually recommended this book to me and actually inspired me and encouraged me to give this talk to all of you. Right? Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Yapp. Okay.
Right, I stop my presentation.
Okay. So now is the Q&A session. Students or lecturers here, you have any questions want to ask Mr. Yapp? Questions?
How to where are the questions?
Pardon?
How to get the book? See, actually can either buy online or go to some bookshop to buy.
How to get the book?
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Okay.
Students? So you can see that how important it's not only the technical part, but the communications part as well. Okay, in your real working life. Okay, here, Mr. Yapp already shared his experience to all of you. Questions here. How is the project finally? Is it successfully deployed now? By Dr. Chris.
Actually, the project deployed in 5 days in the same month when we got the project. And actually we got about 400 over 1,000 applications, and they process quite a lot now. There are actually 7 golongan or bantuan. I think one of them is the largest group. They later I can give you. Not sure I can disclose the number, but overall it's quite okay lah. Just in the beginning there are a lot of hiccups, and then because of this hiccup, right, the application approval process actually took too long to process. So if you Google, you find a lot of news about people complaining the bantuan was actually too slow in approval lah. So actually there are also other stories behind why this approval was taking so long, but I can give you some more sharing later lah, but not now.
Okay, keep it to next time.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions from students maybe? How many IT specialists involved in the project? Mr. Yapp?
IT specialists involved. This project actually involved us and many other government agencies. IT specialist in my team is 2 persons, and then I'm not sure how many persons involved in other government agencies. Maybe in total, maybe more than 10. Yeah.
Okay. So we have another question here. Sir, do you have any guidelines or principles that you follow to have good communications with the clients when developing projects?
Good communications guidelines. First, we listen to the customer. 2 is understand the customer or what they mean, and then this is the problem with communication, especially with client, is when we talk about the solution or our suggestion, right? We have to avoid using the technical terms. We have to use the terms or the way of communication in their world, because they don't have the technical knowledge. Let's say like when we say this program needs this function, and then we talk about some low-level coding terms, they will stare blank at you. They will not understand. So try to use some simpler words and the human language instead of programming language.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a good one. Okay, I hope Mr. Yapp answered your questions. Ian, we have another question here. How would you exercise communications? Depending on the person, do you lean on being blunt and straightforward, overt and sugarcoat language? The questions from Dylan.
Straightforward or vague? Usually when we communicate with client, we stick to the facts. We try to be clear and straightforward as possible, because we don't want any misunderstanding, especially on their expectations on the system. We want to be clear, because if you promise anything that is not clear, they may expect more. And then when we deliver something that that is not up to the expectation, they will not satisfy with our service now. Actually, sometimes they will actually refuse to make the payment. So try to be clear and straightforward lah. Okay.
Yeah, okay. I hope this answer you, Dylan. Okay. Any other questions from the students? From anyone of you? Okay. Since I no more questions from the floor here. Oh, how long does the project development take? Questions from Noah.
The project took about 3 months active development, and then the first 3 months are the most intense. The April, May, and June, and then after June it slowly it slowed down a bit. So because the requirements are actually not defined, it is up to it depends on how the situation develop. Then only we see what features we need. So it's like, oh, suddenly this situation happened. Oh, we need this feature, and can you give me now? They don't. It's not like the normal situation now. Like when we meet with client, they say, oh, we need this function, this ABC, and then 3 weeks later, then we deliver. But this one is this situation happens, and we need this feature. Can you give it now or tomorrow? They will expect next day, or at least next few days. So we actually have to work like on average 16 hours a day to deliver the features to them. So I hope that answers your questions.
Okay. So we have another question here from Ms. Surayani. How is the approval process? Does it need expertise to approve the applications after it is filtered by the system, or it will depend on the system entirely?
It's approved by the government agencies. There are 7 golongan, the Bantuan Golongan 7 Bantuan Golongan, and each golongan is actually processed by different government agency, and each government agency, they have their own criteria. For example, when you apply for the Pemandu golongan, right, you have to fill in extra fields like your license number and so on. So it's up to the government agency to define their criteria and approval. So after they approve, then only they can proceed to the payment. The system is only there to actually collect the data that they need and then pass the data to the government agencies. So after they process, they pass the application status, the approval status back into the system, and then so that the applicant can go to the system and check their status. So the system acts like a middleman between the government agency and the applicants. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Next question.
Thanks. The next question here: how to deal or communicate if the customer are rude in general? Maybe you have experienced this before, Mr. Yapp?
Rude customer. We try to not to take it personal lah, because sometimes when the customer, when they are rude, we have to focus on the facts lah. Focus on the problems. What are the problems they have? What is making them so angry? So if we stick to the problem instead of the emotion, then eventually they will calm down. Yeah, just don't get angry and then fight with them. It won't do any good. Okay.
Okay, just be patient,
Yeah.
Okay. So any other questions? Any more?
Miss Teng, you missed my question at the top.
I missed your questions. Oh, sorry. Let me scroll up. Oh, the questions from Miss Melissa. Do you have any advice or any sharing to students in doing their group assignment? A very good question, Miss Melissa. So, Mr. Yapp?
Group assignment. In my after I joined this company, I have actually this Bantuan project is a group. Actually, it's a group project because we have two persons working in this in a team, but I'm not. The other one is the leader lah, project lead. So how we do is the project lead will actually determine. Will determine what needs to be done, and then he will assign me some tasks, and then after I complete the task, I will report to him, and then he feedback to me again, and then I do some improvements. So for group assignments in college, normally you also have your team leader. The team leader, I know some team leader, they finish the job by himself or herself. But better to have a discussion with your team members first about what are the project scope, assignment requirements, and then set the expectation. Let's say you have 5 persons in a team, and then have a discussion so that everyone have the same set of expectation, what they should do, and then when they should deliver. And I think that will be better lah, instead of one person handling all the assignment. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So I hope students here, you heard it now. Okay, have a good lead, and also you have a good communications with your leader. Okay. So let me check whether you have any other questions before we end our session here. Any other questions here? Anyone? Okay, Dylan.
Good afternoon. I'm
Shu.
Sabah branch. Good afternoon.
Miss Shu.
Happy job to Mr. Yapp and Ms. Tang, lecturers, and also students. I just wish to ask question. You're welcome. Because recently, right, due to the COVID-19, but Sabah one, the numbers actually is subside. I just wish to ask Mr. Yapp, if like let's say you have the government project, right? Normally, how you keep you need to like discuss with them either physically or virtually. So how are you going to like prevent all these face-to-face problem in order to be safe during the transaction or any discussion?
Sorry, the connection was, I think, was not very good.
Ms. Chu, cut off, Ms. Chu. Can't hear you. We can't hear your question clearly.
Can't hear my question clearly.
Oh yeah, can't hear your
come
question.
my line. Okay, I just wish to ask again. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, because the discussion with the government, right? They might need your physical presence, attendance to discuss with them. So I just wish to know how to like maintain the distance or any like procedure, and how often you go and see them in order to clarify their needs.
Actually, during this time, we our meeting was done in video conference with the government, like especially during the MCO, right? Some of the government officers, they still go to their office, but our meeting was done online. We don't do physical visit. That's why now many government agencies they actually very used to the teleconference already. Like we use Jitsi Google Meet. Sometimes we use Zoom. We also sometimes we also have some clients, the state government in Santakan, in other cities instead of in KK only. So because we can't fly to Santakan, so we have this video conference with them now. Okay.
Oh, that's good. Oh, virtual, all through virtual, just like our Google Meet. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Mr.
Okay.
So, any other questions? Any more questions? Okay. If no, then I believe, Mr. Yapp, you have that form for the students to fill out, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe you can put at the chat message there, chat box there.
Okay.
So student, please fill out the form, another form here. Okay. And this one is actually for Mr. Yapp reference. I have another form here. It's actually for Thai UC records. So make sure you fill up. Okay, and also for these evaluations and attendance are considered for your for you to attend this talk for today. Okay, so maybe by the same time you all fill up your forms here. I would like to request all of you to on your camera. We let us have a group photo, group photo. Is that okay? All of you, please switch on your camera.
Group photo.
Group photo. Okay. Let me change my layout first, because yeah.
71%.
I can adjust up to I can adjust up to 49. 49 only. Okay. So for those who on your camera, smile. Hold on. Okay. Not all of you on your camera yet. I will give like 1 minute for you to on your camera. Put on your shirt, maybe for those who did not. Okay. Still. Okay, almost. Yeah. Smile. Need some time, sorry. Okay, still a bit more. Okay, so very first pick. Look at the camera, smile, 3, 2, 1. Hold on, let me see first. One more time. Look at the camera, 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay, thanks for all your cooperations. And I hope students, you already fill out the form already, yeah? Let me check how many responded already. How many responded to this form already? Okay. Mr. Yapp,
Yeah.
check the number of the responses. See whether our students responded to your form or not. Please check.
Yeah. I got quite a lot of responses.
Okay, good.
Okay.
For both feedback form, huh? For both, huh? Good. Okay. It's a bit colorful. I'm still waiting for the response on the evaluations for this talk. For Thai UC records, please, students, please fill up. Okay. This one is actually for your attendance and also your, what we call that, for our records. Okay. So let me see whether is there any other questions before we end this sessions. I'm going to fill up Mr. Yapp's form issue with signing in. Mr. Yapp, can you check?
I got, let me post the link.
Okay.
You mean the feedback form?
Ken, yes, huh? The feedback form. Okay. So make sure you fill up 3 forms today. The first 2 forms actually by Mr. Yapp and another form by me. Okay. Let's check. Only students are required to fill up that. Lecturers no need.
I think you need to sign in.
Can you try to sign in and see? Okay. I still cannot. Abigail.
Let me remove the sign-in requirement. Can you try again?
Okay, so this one for Abigail, for the college records. Okay. Okay now. Okay for now. Okay. So on behalf of Thai UC Sabah branch, I would like to thank Mr. Yapp Howe, our students, to give us a precious talk today. Okay, I hope students learn a lot from you, and I hope you will come in again next round, most probably. Okay, yeah.
Chance.
Yeah, I will arrange with you. I will arrange with you.
Okay.
Okay. And I hope students really learn a lot from Mr. Yapp Howe. Okay. Yeah, it was a pleasure today. We have this all alumni to give us a talk, a sharing on this communications, technical communications. In the Hello World, students all know what is the Hello World. Your first,
They all know.
Your first C project. Yeah. Okay. So, Mr. Yapp, maybe you can double check whether your forms is already. Is it all responded to Mr. Yapp and also my form, my Google form?
Yes.
Oh yes, huh?
Yeah. Okay. Okay already.
Okay already. But for my case here, I only have 34 students. Please fill up. Okay. So if you have no questions, anything else want to share, or Mr. Yap, you have anything else you want to give advice to our students? If there's any before we end it in this session.
Happy point and happy Chakome.
Oh, happy Chakome, yes. Happy Chakome to all of you. Okay. So stay safe, everyone. So I'd like to say thank you. Thank you all for you all to attend this talk today. Thanks again. And again, happy Chakome, everyone. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye,
Mr.
everyone.
Yap. Thank you, Miss Tang.
Bye.